It's about that time of day again. My name is Joseph. It's Tuesday evening, May 16th, 2017. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. We're covering crude oil, S&P, gold, euro, and DAX tonight. Crude is bearish, but we're sitting at two major support levels this evening, telling us to stay patient for opportunities up at resistance levels tomorrow. The only variable is the inventory report scheduled out tomorrow morning. The S&P is range bound just below the big round number at 2,400, telling us to look for failures. We're looking to buy the low, sell the high on Wednesday morning until we see a good breakout in one direction or the other on the Emini. Gold is bullish, but we have two big clues on the chart telling us to expect a deep two-legged pullback off the new highs tomorrow. Euro's bullish with a spike in channel tonight. Big strong move on the 6E today, telling us to stay patient for a correction off the highs and look for a seller failure for buying opportunities back to the high tomorrow. The FDAX is range bound, and we're sitting smack in the middle of a range tonight, which tells us to stay patient tomorrow, selling high, buying low, and focusing on failures. What a great day today. What an amazing day. It's been a great month of May so far. Had a great Tuesday. Hope you guys did as well. Before we jump into today's charts, before we put the plan together for Wednesday, got a busy newsletter here for you guys tonight. I do want to remind you the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is on our blog here at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, not to worry. There's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link. Come join me on the blog at Sideways Markets for the full-length version, all 5 markets and all the analysis right on the full-length version. While you're here, don't forget, join the mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when our nightly newsletter goes live. Follow me on social, lower left-hand corner. Many different ways to follow me on social media. I just sent out all the inventory levels for tomorrow on crude oil to my Facebook, my Twitter, my stock twits. Make sure you guys check those out, lower left-hand corner as well. And don't forget to grab those charts. How easy is that? Have all the charts from tonight's video on your computer, ready to use at your leisure tomorrow. Follow that link below the video on the blog here tonight. And please don't forget to grab your free pass. You're going to learn more with me in 90 minutes on that free pass than you will anywhere else on the interwebs. I can pretty much guarantee you that. Grab that free pass in the upper right hand corner. If you're brand new here to SOT, make sure you check out the frequently asked questions, and don't forget to hit me up on live support if you have any questions along the way. Boy, oh boy, it's been a great day here so far. Hope you guys had a great day out there as well. Let's get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, May the 17th, hump day here. Of course, we'll be in our trade room tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I look forward to trading the strategy right along with you guys here tomorrow. Whenever I see a Wednesday, the very first thing I think about is going to be the inventory report tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that'll be the big news tomorrow for the S&P and for crude oil, right? Remember, the S&P has sympathy volatility these days, right, with the price of oil. So don't forget to keep an eye on the S&P 500 after the inventory report comes out at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Remember, 15-minute cutoff ahead of tomorrow's inventory report, and then at least 5 minutes after the news comes out to let the craziness settle down, right? Find new direction. Remember, though, always early in, early out on Wednesdays. The most reliable trades will always come before the inventory report comes out on Wednesday mornings. And again, 10:15, right? 15-minute cutoff before that news comes out tomorrow. So big news for crude oil, and of course the S&P. We get the labor market report at 4:30 a.m. in London. We're going to go into 10:30 a.m. in the U.S. session. And then, of course, we'll talk about some news tomorrow night, right, from China, right, and Australia. We'll come back and talk more about that tomorrow night. In tomorrow night's newsletter, most important news for tomorrow appears to be the inventory report. It definitely will be if you trade in crude or the S&P 500. And of course, right, we'll be ready with you guys tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Looking forward to executing this plan with all of our advanced members in the trade room. Let's jump right in. I appreciate you guys sticking around here late with me tonight. Got a lot to cover here. Got a bunch of great charts to look at here this evening. Crude starting out here tonight. We'll go crude, S&P, gold, euro, and we'll wrap up with the FDAX here this evening. Crude is bearish and trading at the low of a channel and a measured move tonight, telling us to avoid selling into these support levels and look for selling opportunities up around resistance levels overhead tomorrow. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that prior day low around 47.75, which is still left to be tested after yesterday's OPEC announcement went bust. The only variable right now is this inventory report scheduled for release tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Just like we expected from last night's newsletter, the bulls were unable to hold this thing, and we rolled over I don't want to say the gig is up just yet because I don't think the gig will be officially up here for this OPEC cut, right, until we get back to that prior day low. But we are really, really close, right, to taking all of that move back, right, from the beginning of this week. Like I said last night, usually when we hear about an OPEC production cut, it usually gives us 2, 3, 4, maybe a week or so of bullishness before people finally catch on to the fact that we could be swimming in oil, right, in our swimming pools right now. We have so much of this stuff. It'll take more than a production cut, right, to bring this thing back into balance. The bottom line, though, is, right, there's no reality in these markets. It's all based on speculation. So, of course, it didn't take them long this time. It took them approximately 12 hours, right, to start to fade this move from the OPEC production cut. And that, right, and that final nail in the coffin will be at 47.75 tomorrow. And you know there are a lot of buyers right now who are still holding on, right, trying to pray it out a little bit here to see if they can, right, finally pull out of this nosedive. Tomorrow we really have the inventory report. That inventory report oftentimes creates a complete turn in direction. So we're not out of the woods yet for the bears because of the inventory report tomorrow. A lot of times on inventory days, the market just takes off right to the opposite direction of the trend, and then of course runs higher and then ends up later on in the week, right, coming back down, almost as if the inventory report is setting up, in this case, the sellers for a nice big sell off the high. So do not be surprised tomorrow if we sink like a rock down to that prior day low. But typically, though, on inventory days, we see a bit of a jackknife in direction. So we will be prepared for that, right, tomorrow. Now, speaking of being prepared for tomorrow, I'm going to post these inventory levels for Wednesday. You can see these on the chart here tonight. You don't need to write them all down. You're more than welcome to, but you can also just scroll down below this video on the blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. Scroll down, below the video, there's a link that says click here to read more. Follow that link and that will send you over right to the page where you get all these numbers. Have those numbers ready for tomorrow. Those will be areas of support and resistance for us tomorrow as well. I also sent out all those support resistance levels to all of my Facebook, Twitter, right, StockTwits followers as well. So make sure you guys check me out on social as well, because you would have had those right about 2 hours ago. So again, we're bearish here on crude. We're bearish here on crude going into inventories tomorrow. So we're going to focus on being sellers up around the highs of this channel, up inside that battle zone. We're going to keep an eye out too for a possible change in trend, because we do typically see quite a bit of that ahead of the inventory report. The most important thing right now that stands out here is the fact that we're sitting right at the low of that channel. We're also sitting at, really there's 3 levels of support here at the measured move. And of course, if you take these, right, swing to swing, right, that is also a double down as well. So we got 3 levels of support that we're sitting at right now. And so clearly we don't want to sell into this support. We want to be able to either break lower and use this support area as resistance, or we want to break higher and use that battle zone, right, for an opportunity here to sell tomorrow. So really there are 2 scenarios you want to be watching here for crude oil, right, that is up and then back down, right, selling high in a bear market, up around areas of resistance, whether it be the top of that channel, the moving average, right, inside that battle zone from 48.50, right, to 48.74. Another scenario to consider for tomorrow would be moving lower and then pulling back and actually using that support now as resistance on the opposite side, right? The bottom line is we don't want to sell here. Either want to see this price go up, buyer failure, and back down, go up, 2-legged pullback, 2-legged correction in this case, right? 2-legged correction in this case, right? Coming off those lows, which will usually involve a trend line there, right? That'd be a spot there to sell, or one of the many different ways in which we can look for selling opportunities in a bear market. Now, as the market goes lower, though, then you'll really want to wait for that 2-legged move. It'll be a 2-legged correction if it goes lower. That'll be the most reliable way to do it, right, for tomorrow, if it goes lower, right, without pulling back here. So, again, looking to get that price up, right? Want to see this price go up so we can sell it back down again, or down so we can wait for it to go back up, right, and then sell relatively high, right, without chasing after that move lower. How does this market turn bullish tomorrow? Strength, right? That's the key here. The first thing is we got to see some strength, and then, of course, those buyers need to show us by holding a pullback. If the bulls can show us some strength, get back above the moving average, real strong move higher, show us the sellers are getting the heck out of town, right? And then hold that pullback, we're off to the races here to be a bull. But I can't just guess right now. I realize I'm at support, but being at support in a bear market is not enough for me to become a buyer. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'll be a buyer getting out of my short positions, but I'm not going to initiate, right, a naked buy order here at this point. I'm not going to get in long, right, off of these lows just because I'm sitting at support. So sellers, get it up and sell it back down, or get it down, right, and then wait for it to go up so you can sell it back down again. Buyers, get some strength back above that moving average, right? Hold that pullback. And if the buyers can hold this pullback, this could really get pretty crazy tomorrow, up to that 49.38 to retest, right, today's highs. And then, of course, yesterday's highs, right, we're up there, what, 66, I think it was, right? 49.66, is that what it was? Yep, so 49.66, I believe, yep. Right, so that would ultimately be the objective tomorrow, right? If these bulls were to hold this, but again, right, they have to. This will take. Anything can happen in inventories, right? It can definitely happen, right? But they have to see proof first. Got to see proof first. So sellers in control right now. Sell high, don't sell low. And again, watch that prior day low down there at 75 if you're a bear for the target going lower. And again, watch the highs up there at 38, right? And of course 66, right? If the bulls can take control tomorrow. And again, don't forget. Right, and again, don't forget here on Crude, inventories tomorrow. Grab those inventory levels, get those on your chart, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, right, at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll trade the strategy together. How about some S&P? Boy, this S&P is looking pretty nasty here right now. S&P is range bound with a triangle this evening, telling us to avoid the middle and focus on buying the low and selling the high using failure patterns tomorrow. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that big round number at 2,400, which continues to act as a price magnet in the month of May, making it much more reliable to be buying using that 2-try rule. Now, as you can see, as we open up in the overnight Asian session, you'll notice here this real big, strong red candle. That strong red candle successfully now has retested that low. The problem is, though, is that there really hasn't been very much control here today. The buyers sent price higher. They couldn't hold it. Sellers took it lower. They couldn't hold it. Buyers took it higher. They couldn't hold it. Sellers took it lower. They couldn't hold it. Who the hell's got control of this market right now? If you look left, right, this all of a sudden looks like a pretty good spot there to be a buyer on the way back up to that 2,400. So that's going to be the plan here until proven otherwise. I don't believe this move lower until it holds a pullback. As we finished up the session here on Tuesday night, we find ourselves inside of a triangle. That means that triangle ultimately becomes the magnet here for price. And right now we have the first try of a 2-try rule to go back up into that range. So think about a triangle here as one big range. Mark up the highs, mark up the lows, and really what you want to look for is 1 try, 2 try, failure, and then back up. 1 try, 2 try, failure, and then back down. Now, again, as I said earlier, this 2,400 area, that big round number, has been a price magnet over the past few weeks. And so with that said, we'd like to be a buyer more than we'd like to be a seller, just because at this point right now, right, that magnet will be drawing that price higher. So the S&P is clearly, right, S&P is clearly trying to break down here. And if they can hold this pullback and continue through, right, I'll gladly give them the confidence now to go lower. But as of right now, though, the day ends up on the S&P inside of a range, and therefore just looking at it, right, the moving average is nice and flat, right below that 2,400. So key to a trading range, we got one of these in the FDAX tonight, is buy low, sell high, and really focus on the extremes of that range, right? So 1 try, 2 try, I want to buy low by using failures, and failures use what we call the 2-try rule. Here's 1 try, it'll pull back, try again, and then of course with that second try failure, once we see the turn, then we know, right, those bears are failing, and we'll look for that move going back up into that, right, into that middle. The most reliable target going higher will always be the middle of that triangle, but in all reality, I would try to hold a couple extra bullets To go back to that big round number, it does look like that's pretty much the kind of the meat and potatoes of that range right now. And after we saw this big, especially when you feel like you've missed out on the move coming off that high. Guys and gals, don't forget, we're going to trade this plan tomorrow with all of our advanced members in the trade room. I hope to see you there at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Don't forget, if you want to learn more about our trading strategy here at School of Trade, grab that free trial on the homepage here at schooloftrade.com. Learn more about our 3 levels of membership, right? Learn more about our 3 levels of membership. And don't forget, if you're tuning in right now on our YouTube channel, right, make sure you go in the description of that YouTube video, follow that link over here to the website at School of Trade so you can learn more about everything we do here at SOT. I'm always here to help. Shoot me up on email. Email me at jj@schooloftrade.com or use that live support tool on the right-hand side of the website. You guys be well out there. Hope you had a great day today. We'll do it again tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time in the trade room. If not, same time, same place tomorrow, guys. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.